We're back. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. And now Richard
Millard.
Millard, Millard, what's a lovely name, who actually is really the inventor of this new Flexxicore passive exerciser, is going to be demonstrating it. And we have our stunt woman, Raphael Cohen-Bacry, here today, who's been very good-natured about this and is going to show us how it works. Go ahead, Richard, please.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk Raphael through this, and basically all she's got to do is absolutely nothing. I'll be doing the controls here. Obviously, a person using it for themselves would have the controls by their side. I've just turned it on, and as we can see, there's a very nice, gentle movement there at the feet. I'm just going to suggest that Raphael closes her eyes because really the secret to enjoying this at its best is to just completely relax and let go. So I will take the speed up a little bit. I'm just taking it up here for the camera, just show you there's a little screen that shows you the speed you're doing, and the dial here takes the speed up.
And Richard, as we increase the speed, is there any additional benefit? Why do you have different speeds?
Well, it's really a matter of we are all very individual. The way we design this is to make it suitable for really any age group, any fitness level, and so it's really up to the individual to experiment and find the speed that resonates for them. In fact, as I take the speed up here for Raphael, I would like to say to her, if she feels, instinctively that she'd like the speed to come down, it's good to let me know, because especially when you start out, it's better not to go over the top of the hill. It's very easy to get excited with it.
And what is the scientific explanation of the benefit of this device?
Well, we don't have a huge amount of scientific evidence per se. We look at experience.
Okay, experience.
And for example, myself, why did I get interested in it? I had a history of lower back problems. For much of my adult life, I struggled with releasing the tension that tends to build up here, just above the waist in the lower back. And I tried many things, Alexander technique, Feldenkrais technique. Therapists such as osteopaths have always helped me. But when it comes down to it on a daily basis, you want something that you can use in your home to release that energy, which, sorry, not energy, but tension. It's the tension which tends to build up depending on our, body use. We have a lot of bad habits, basically, in posture. And tension builds up because of that, in short.
And this device is based on early devices that you bumped into, or that you used rather, in Japan.
Actually, I was in Japan much earlier in my life. My wife is Japanese, so we still have a lot of connections there. But it was whilst living in England that I was shown one of the early machines that came out of Japan, and I just got into it since then. They are actually manufactured in Taiwan, by the way, these machines that we have, and I've visited the manufacturers many times, and we're working with them to develop it, to the point that, we really feel comfortable now with talking about it for back care, as well as I was saying earlier, the energy aspects, better respiration, many benefits in terms of circulation, whether it's blood system, lymph system. And, generally we find that people enjoy it, and perhaps there are several benefits they're getting, which they may or may not be really clear about.
What are those benefits?
Well, circulation. We all know that as we get on in age, circulation and balancing the circulation is something that's really important. If you go back to the Oriental description of things in Chinese medicine, you'll probably be aware they talk of 5 aspects of energy, and very often you'll find that they're out of balance in an adult. Some might be in excess, some might be deficient. And we have worked with people who have equipment that measures those energy factors, And using this for just 5 minutes will balance up those Chinese energy aspects. And interestingly enough, we found that it's not just while the motion is happening, but the benefits actually continue for at least 30 minutes after the session has stopped. So it is on a quite fundamental level that the balancing, stimulating, modulating aspects, if you like, are working.
And you have found on a personal level that the lower back issues you have been helped by your device.
Indeed, yes. I've been using this type of machine for about 10 years now. As I said previously, I had to use all sorts of help to stay erect.
Yes.
At times my back even seized up. But
yes, no fun when your back is not cooperating. It's just really, oh my goodness, it's not any fun.
That's right. But since using these things, I've really been able to keep much better back health. And I will give you an example of something that happened just this year. This relates to my use of a laptop. And I had something that was, according to my osteopath, approaching frozen shoulder, which is quite a difficult problem to work with. I went into a downward spiral, and it was very, very difficult to lift my arm. I had shooting pains up my arm, and I had to go to an osteopath for help. So I'm not suggesting to anyone that's listening today that this is a substitute for hands-on treatment when you have a problem. Or indeed, I'm not suggesting it's a substitute for exercise, because it won't build muscle. But what it will do is give the stimulating effects for the system, and it will release tension. And it's in that sense of releasing held tension that it helps with the back. I talked earlier about the Canadian connection, and in the treatment of spinal health, it's very important that fluid is getting in between the discs.
Yes.
And when we start to get old and much more rigid in our spine, that is not happening. So this passive motion, it allows the discs just to have the fluid encouraged in between them. So it is very important. Now, this is of course something that we don't sell as something that will fix your back.
Right.
It's more to do with maintaining back health on a regular basis, and really, a very enjoyable thing to do. I start the day with it because it helps me get alert, ready for the day ahead, and at the same time, in the background, I know it's looking after my back.
Are any sports teams using this device?
Well, it's interesting that people of all fitness levels do like it. It's passive exercise, but I'll give you an example.
Excuse me, and passive exercise meaning what exactly?
Well, it's passive in the sense that the person doing it is just lying there, making no effort. And actually, the secret is to do absolutely nothing. The more that you can let go and let the movement happen freely, the better the effects are. But I was just going to mention that one day we were demonstrating at a show where there were some break dancers who were performing at a very, very high level. And the sort of gymnastics those guys do, just extraordinarily fit. But they came over and had a go on this, and they were saying this is just what we need, because, of course, tension is something they have to deal with too.
Sure.
And this is really a beautiful antidote to that tension that we tend to build up, and indeed we hold on to it generally if we're not doing something, to really relax.
Yes. Richard, what's the name of this device again?
It's the Flexxicore Passive Exerciser.
And how can people find out more about the Flexxicore Passive Exerciser?
Well, we have a website. It's flexxicore.com. I'll spell it out for you because there are two X's. It's FLEXXICORE. And that's .com.
That's the website?
That's the website, and there is a video there which explains a lot and shows you how it's actually happening in quite an educational way, but lots of information on the website too.
And how's our subject doing?
Okay.
Very relaxed. Okay, good.
There's a very big smile on the face.
Oh, this is good. This is good.
This is very common.
Okay, good. I'm glad that the stunt woman was not injured in this segment. That's very good. That's very good. Richard, once again, give us your contact information to buy and find out more about the Flexxicore Passive Exerciser.
Okay, the website is Flexxicore. That's spelled FLEXXICORE.com. And that's where you can find out all about it and how to actually purchase the item.
Richard, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You've been listening to Here's to Your Health on LA Talk Live. I'm your host, Joshua Lane. I'd like to thank our stunt person, Raphael Cohen-Bacry, for being very good-natured. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these important messages.